I am going to call the meeting to order. My name is Nathaniel Welch. I am co-chair of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee. I'm calling this public meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. Today's agenda was posted on the community's webpage on the town website. And please note that while it said it was a hybrid meeting, no address was included for the physical meeting. So in order for us to not be in violation of the open meeting laws, this will only be a virtual meeting because that was the information that was included in the posted agenda. I own that issue, so I apologize to the rest of the committee for the confusion. The meeting is held under the authority of legislation that authorizes remote meetings until March 31st, 2025. And in the event of any technical difficulties, we will, and we cannot recover within 5 minutes. This meeting will be ended and all matters on the agenda that have not been heard will be continued to our next meeting. All votes will be taken by roll call. And I'm welcoming Erin. I see that you're on, so thank you. Tonight, meeting minutes will be recorded by committee member Brian Krauts. Brian, thank you very much for offering to take on the task of doing meeting minutes. So this time I'll ask committee members to indicate that they are present when I call their name. Mary Beth Barker.
Present.
Brian Krauts.
Present.
Thank you. Dorcas Miller.
Present.
And Nat Welch is present. With 4 of 7 members present, we have a quorum. So I'm going to continue the meeting. Our first agenda item is to approve the minutes from the May 25th meeting of this committee. Those minutes were forwarded to committee members. Are there any edits or questions regarding the May 25th meeting minutes that members want to comment on?
Move to accept the minutes.
Second?
I second.
Okay. I have a roll call. Ms. Barker?
Aye.
Mr. Krauts?
Aye.
Ms. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Welch, also aye, and minutes are approved unanimously. I'd like to invite Erin Stevens, Director of Planning and Land Management, to provide her first monthly update to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee. And also, Erin, I made you co-host, so you can be in control as well. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Nat. Thank you for the title upgrade, but I'm not the Director of Planning and Land Management, but thank you for that.
We want you to be. Okay, go ahead.
I'm only the senior planner, but
Okay.
I'm very happy to be here. I apologize for my tardiness. I'm used to being the host, and it was set up by somebody else today, so we had a little bit of difficulty getting me into the meeting. All right, but moving right along. So I sent you all today the update. It's not as thorough as Marcia's usually are, but I'm trying to get up to par. One of the things that Nat, you had mentioned before was you had a question about stop signs on the Bruce Freeman.
Mhm.
So I added that into this. I asked Marcia prior to her retirement. She said that that was a requirement by Mass DOT, that those must be in place. It's similar to if you come to a cross street, people who are crossing and they are traveling along the rail trail, they do not necessarily have the right of way because they are essentially a cross street coming up to a street that is in motion, if you will. So they do have to stop and to make sure that they are safe to cross the street, just as you would if you were a vehicle. And similar to any other crosswalk, if you are already in the crosswalk, you have the right of way. If there are vehicles there, you do have to wait for a vehicle to stop for you. And that is hopefully the answer that will fulfill all of those questions.
Okay.
Phase 2D is currently underway. I spoke with Delia Kay, our Natural Resources Director, who has been leading that effort, as it is the section that's being done right now is adjacent to White Pond, and so they are being very careful about the ensuring that there's no disturbance of the hillside or the vegetation that's going down into the waterway. We are waiting still for a schedule update from the contractor that will give us a better idea of when the actual construction will begin, but they said that they are underway and are on schedule. The ribbon cutting, this is the exciting part. The ribbon cutting has been scheduled for the 30th at 10 a.m. We just got that confirmed by Mass DOT. I think I got a call yesterday or the day before. The formal invitation will be sent out. I think they said that they're finalizing it today to send out tomorrow. We're just finalizing the speakers list right now. It will be at the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail parking lot off of Commonwealth Ave, with parking at the nearby fields next to MCI Concord. We had the transfer of maintenance agreement from Mass DOT, so we are now in charge of maintenance as of June 5th. So that will be going to Public Works. So any issues surrounding, things need to be mowed, or there's issues with trash overflowing, things like that, will go to Public Works, to the Highway and Grounds Department. And then lastly, an abutters notice was sent out. I believe this was discussed prior with this committee, to all abutters along the Bruce Freeman that aren't state or town property, to inform them that they may not dump things like leaves, grass clippings, and whatnot along the trail. We've gotten a couple of calls about it so far. For the most part, it's people just wondering if it's directed at them. When we assure them that it was sent to everyone, they feel a little bit better. And just it's as a warning to people to not do that. And if it continues, then we will look into fining people, as the Natural Resources Department has done in other areas.
Great,
That covers it.
great. Thank you, Erin. Committee members, do you have any questions for Erin?
I have an update. Walked on the trail today. They're pulling up the wooden ties. It's in Sudbury, and it's just going past Mara's property, and the little pond that's in there. So it's coming. It's definitely
That's
coming.
great. That's great. I had made a comment to Erin about when are they going to pull up the ties? They've done it in Sudbury. What about us? So that's great.
Yeah, right now.
Good, good, good. Barbara, I see you. I'm going to first call on a committee member. Brian, you had a comment or question?
Well, first I can corroborate Sudbury. I had indirect reporting from a son. So a basic question, is the phase 2C officially open now? I've had that question. My reply has been, I'm not really sure.
So sorry, I'm still trying to remember. Phase 2C is the bridge, correct?
No,
That's what I'm referring to, regardless of which one.
Phase 2B is the bridge, right? Right, Barbara?
yes.
Yes.
A
Gotcha.
is Acton, B is Bridge, 3 is Concord. Marcia pointed
There we
that.
go. That's how I've been trying to remember it, but I was like, oh, maybe I got it wrong. So phase 2B is officially open with the transfer of maintenance, because most of the items have been, the majority of the work has been completed. There's just a few items left, like they have to reseed a couple of areas where the grass seed didn't take. And so they're having some issues with washout of the soils that were placed there. But other than that, it is open for the community's use.
Okay, great.
And one more
go ahead.
question.
Yep.
For phase 2D, what sort of schedule do we think we might get? Just because I've also been asked questions about that, and my answer is like, I don't really know.
My understanding is that we are hoping to have it done by 2025. That was what Marcia told me. We may have I will have a much better idea once I get that information from the contractor. I haven't seen an actual schedule yet, but that is what I was told by Marcia, and so that's what I'm going off of.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great. Barbara Pike?
Barbara Pike, Border Road.
Thank you.
Is this the appropriate time to ask some questions about the ribbon cutting, or should I wait till the agenda item comes up?
Could we wait until the agenda item?
Certainly.
Because I had some questions for you about it too, so.
I
that would
know
be-
nothing.
I know, okay, all right. Marcia, in terms of, Marcia, gosh, look at that. Erin, I did ride the trail on Tuesday, and I noticed that between Powder Mill and Williams Road, it feels like a lot of stuff is growing up in the sides, so I wonder if Public Works, could maybe schedule some trimming on the edge of the trail. That was my only comment. I'm very excited about the ribbon cutting being scheduled.
I
All right,
will
any-
talk to them about that.
Great, thank you. Okay, Erin, thank you on behalf of the committee for stepping in into Marcia's shoes, and we're looking forward to that title upgrade too at some point. So, all right, now on to committee business. First item is an update from the select board with regard to the updated committee, with regard to the committee charge. And I'm very pleased to report that the select board approved our new charge as of June 5th. And I think it's actually posted now on the website. Probably the biggest change is that we have dropped from 9 to 7 members, and that therefore our quorum requirements are lower. We are also looking for a 7th member. So I'd encourage any members here, if you know someone who might be interested, a walker, a biker, a butter, anything, someone who might be interested in being part of it, please let me or Adrian know, and we'd love to have them on board. Any questions on the charge? Okay, and thanks to everyone on this committee for their help on doing that. Okay, Phase 2B celebration, 10 a.m. on June 30th at Giroux Park, at the parking lot near Giroux Park. I would recognize Barbara Pike with questions and answers at the same time. Barbara?
Well, it's really awkward for me because I'm not going to be here. My
Okay.
back porch is going to be filled with canopies and coolers and banners, and I think Tom Michaelman is going to come pick it all up. And we are ordering a cake, and I'm hoping that we can comply with the Board of Health requirements. I've got everything packed except for the hot water, which anyway. So I had just a couple questions. One of which is that apparently Concord is going to accept the Friends offer of a seasonal porta potty in that area. Yes, Erin?
Yes, I talked to Carlene about it.
Yes. Is that going to be in place for the ribbon cutting?
That is the hope. I'm just waiting for Carlene to get back to me with a couple of other details, but CPW feels that we can do that.
Okay. Is she assisting you with the grant request or doing it, or?
She didn't mention anything about how to get the money to us.
Do we know how much money?
It is off the top of my head, roughly 1,700, I think.
Okay, and that's till, so that's basically July, August, September, October.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So that's great if there'd be a porta there. The weather's going to be pretty bad next week. Is there, what are the plans for inclement weather? Do you know?
So Mass DOT said that they have a trailer filled with all kinds of stuff for events. They assured me that they had everything needed. I assume that they mean that they will have it rain or shine, but I will certainly follow up with them and make sure that they have a plan or a rain date in place. They haven't mentioned it to me yet.
Well, Concord Rec is putting up at least one canopy, is that right?
Yes, they're fairly small though.
Okay. And I'm just wondering if you knew what your need for volunteers might be. If you need people to come and, help with parking, or, I mean, we'll take care of the refreshments, but do you need volunteers for anything else?
So I'm speaking with Ron Hulsinger, the safety officer, regarding police detail and traffic.
Oh, good.
We'll be talking a little bit about the parking. I also am talking to MCI Concord specifically because it is their parking area, if you will, their fields. So I'm sure that they have either cones that we could set up, or we could set up some cones to sort of show people where they can and can't park.
Mhm.
I don't know if we necessarily need parking attendants,
Okay.
but I can certainly talk to Ron and see how he feels about that.
All right, well, let us know. I'm leaving on Monday, so. And Carlene's also, well, she'll be here till Friday, but. So anyway, if you think that you're gonna need some volunteers to help with, whatever. So good, it's happening. And we do have 150 map bandanas, yellow bandanas with a map of phase 2B, which we will hand out. And I'm ordering a full-size sheet cake tomorrow.
Well, thank you.
Carlene, I think, has gotten the Board of Health permit. I have a large list that I will not go through with you.
Okay. Barbara, the committee would like to thank the Friends for their support of a porta potty out there. That's great to have that. So thank you.
Well, we're really disappointed not to have the flush toilets at Giroux Park.
It'll happen someday.
I've been
Yeah.
told they're coming, so
Right.
eventually.
They'll be flushing soon.
Oh, Aaron, let me ask you a technical question. How often are you planning to have it cleaned?
So
All I can say is more than once a month.
so Public Works said that we will be going into one of their existing contracts.
That's great.
So I believe that they have that all set up, and I trust their judgment on that.
Good. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it and let them know if they need to make an adjustment.
That's
Okay,
That's
great.
great. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Any other member questions or comments on the celebration?
Was Richard going to do something with yellow ribbon?
Richard is traveling right now.
Okay,
I'm not sure where he is on his yellow ribbon,
okay,
but we'll find out when he gets back. If he has something, we'll weave it into the celebration. Otherwise, we will celebrate with MassDOT and move on to the to the next piece.
okay.
Okay. Third item on the agenda is Junction Park. Two pieces. One is the awaiting the planters, which I hope will be sometime. Aaron, you'll let us know when they arrive, and then the committee's prepared to put together a site visit, a posted site visit, official meeting, and with Mary Beth with the COD, and with any other interested parties, including the Green Thumbs, including the West Concord Cultural District. We're going to invite everybody to come in and be part of this discussion. Any member questions on this? Cynthia Katz, I see you have your hand up. Could you identify yourself and your address?
Sure, Cynthia Katz, 20 Conant Street in West Concord.
Welcome.
Thank you. I have two questions that pertain to Junction Park. Can I ask them both now? Or can I just?
Go ahead. You have the floor.
All righty. I guess my first question is about what you just talked about regarding the planters which have arrived. And I wonder if someone is just a community member and isn't affiliated with an organization that you mentioned, but is concerned about Junction Park and interested in, what's going to happen there with the planters and everything, how will they find out about, will they be welcome?
They'll be more than welcome, Ms. Katz. This will be an official posted meeting of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee. We will have enough time that the planters have not arrived yet, I don't think. And when they do arrive, we'll then schedule something, at least a couple of weeks out, because we want to give everyone an opportunity to be there.
Great.
So, and your second question?
Okay, I wasn't planning on asking that previous question. So my second question is really the reason I came on, and I was going to shoot you an email, Nat, but then when I got this notice about this meeting, I thought, oh, well, I'll just pop into the meeting. So I went last week to the website. I'm a big walker around West Concord, and so I'm in Junction Park a lot. And I went to the website because I wanted to see what the website said about bikes in Junction Park, walking versus riding. And I think we all know that the signage that's been up for a while is still up, both the signs on poles, the signs on the ground, and yet your map continues online to say that it's a walk your bike zone. But I would say probably, I don't know if you've done a count, recently, but I would say maybe 75% of the bikers through Junction Park ride through the park. And so I guess I wonder what the intention is and what the way to, how it gets handled, what's the intention? And if the intention is that people are not going to ride their bikes through the park, how is that going to be actualized?
So I would refer you to the recommendations that the committee made to the select board in end of June last year. And one of the recommendations we made was to change the signage and to instead of telling people what they can't do and what they shouldn't do and don't do this, would be to invite people that they're coming into a special space, whether they're walking on wheels or whatever, and be aware of others and to behave appropriately. So that was a recommendation of this committee. When the select board took up our recommendation, one of the things that came out of that meeting was the addition of a planter in the center of the path. But as far as I recall, and I don't have the transcript in front of me, the rest of the recommendation was accepted for the short term. So the committee's recommendation was to ask people to be thoughtful as they go through. I was in the park on Monday, and I was in the park on Thursday of last week. And I noticed a couple of people walking, and I noticed some people riding. There was nobody else in the park at the time, and they did ride through. But I would refer you to a recommendation in terms of what we're actualizing. That was our recommendation. We have been told by public. Go ahead.
Where would I find that? Because it's not on the website. It's not on your part of the website.
It's on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail website. I can, if you give me a minute, I can pull up exactly where it is on the page. And
I think that's under Junction Park information, which is on the left-hand column when you're on the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Advisory Committee page.
Thank you, Erin.
But that's not the town website you're referring to. It's the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail.
No, it's go ahead, Erin.
It is the town website. It's the committee's page on the town's website. So each boarding committee has their own web page.
Okay, I did go to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail web part of the town website and did not see that, so I guess I overlooked it. So where would I go? I would go back to the town website. I
So if
would
you go to the town website and under government, go to boards and committees. And then you'll find the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail Committee. And that is the committee's page, and the Junction Park information's on the left-hand side there.
And in that Junction Park information subpage, the second item is the Bruce Freeman Realtor Advisory Committee Junction Park Report, June 22nd, 2022, final. And that has all the recommendations in it.
Okay.
What was your third question, Ms. Katz?
No, that was my real only question that I came to. Yeah.
Ask about. And so I just want to make one other observation about actualizing. And I think that the public safety officers have said we're not going to post police in the park to police any regulations that are there. So part of this is to part of this with putting the planters in and continuing to observe what goes on. I'm at some point, the select board has said they're going to come back and review the effectiveness of the short-term recommendations the town is now implementing. And the select board directed the then current director of planning and land management, Marcia, to do the, she had a set of work she has to do, which Erin is following up on. At some point, the select board's going to come back and look at that, and that might be a time also that you could speak up and say, how you feel it's going, along with any other citizen in town. And we're going to have an opinion and recommendation as well.
Right. I do remember at one of your meetings that I happened to be on, I believe it was Adrian who was talking about Junction Park in that particular meeting. And I did hear her say, it might be that we have to disentangle the rail trail from Junction Park.
Right. And taking off my committee hat, well, actually, I'll keep my committee hat on. Our recommendation was for a long-term solution that would do that, because our charge from the select board was to increase safety by separating pedestrians and bicycles. I'm not saying exactly right, but that's essentially what the select board asked us to do in 2021. And we did, I don't know, 30 hours worth of meetings and a lot of work. We had 3 recommendations. One was a short-term one because we needed to do something inexpensively and quickly. The second was a long-term one to really address the separation and create safety. And the third recommendation related to the crossing at the railroad station, at the north end of Junction Park, where people can walk across the tracks. And we had some recommendations for that. That's all in the report, in the recommendation that we've referred you to.
Right. I remember those, and I remember being on a lot of those meetings. And I think that there are a lot of people in West Concord who enjoy Junction Park, who just, don't want Junction Park to become this thing where it gets bifurcated and it becomes something much less than what it is. So
Yes, we've heard many different inputs regarding that. Thank you for joining us and for your questions. And we look forward to your continued involvement. We really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
The second Junction Park item, which is on the agenda, is the MBTA crossing safety. And I just want to give the committee a quick update on that. There have been 2 incidents of people in wheelchairs getting stuck as they try and get across that track. The first one was in May, and former member John Soden was the one who reported that. And then we had a second one on June 1st that was reported. I've been very active in informing the asking the town manager and the select board to work on it. Keolis, which is running the MBTA, the commuter rail, actually repaved that area, and in the repaving actually did not make it any safer. That was done on June 6th. Is that right, Aaron? I think that was the date that they did it.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I could check and see what the actual date was.
So I went to look at it shortly after and actually noticed that it was probably, the gap was probably wider. There is, I think as I've mentioned before, and thanks to Mary Beth for her hard work and friends in Wisconsin who pointed out that there is a known solution. It works. It's installed in many states. After the paving, we actually got Simon Cataldo, who is our representative, involved in the conversation. I spoke to him on Friday, and he said this is really, the town is doing the official work. I'm just reporting my part of it. I know the town is working very hard to move things forward. But with regard to Simon, he sent a note to me that they have been on the MBTA on a daily basis, trying to get some action without a substantive response so far. And he said that he thought the town was going to take some further steps, I guess official steps that towns take. But I don't know what that is. Maybe Aaron, you have an idea.
Sure, yeah. So our deputy town manager, who's our ADA coordinator, Megan Zamuto, she's been working really hard on this. I had sent several emails previously to the state office on disabilities, I believe. I have a contact there, so I spoke to her about it, and she roped in someone who had experience from the AAB, the Architectural Access Board. I have been having difficulty getting them to write back to me now. They responded back the first time, but then the second time, and I said, we really need to do something. We didn't get much back. So Megan's following up and really trying to make sure that something happens. We found that it's difficult to get in touch with the MBTA accessibility division. They make it difficult to find them. So we are, Megan's working very hard to, I believe the Commission on Disabilities is putting together a formal complaint letter, which will then be lodged with the MBTA, as well as the police have been notified and fire has been notified, so that they can be aware that there could be other incidents. I would think that there may be even other incidents that haven't been reported to us. These are just the two that we know about. There's probably many more people who have had difficulty. So we are definitely staying on top of it, and Megan is following up with that, as well as the Commission on Disabilities.
Great, thank you, Aaron. Mary Beth, you're our official COD dual purpose member. Is there anything you want to add or any comments you want to make?
I just had a question, and when you said that they are not getting back to us, were you referring to the Mass MCOD, or were you referring to AAB who was not getting back? I was wondering.
Sure. So I have two contacts that are within the Mass Department of the Mass Department, all the acronyms, and then
But the Massachusetts Architectural Access Board or the Massachusetts Commission on Disability?
the Department on Disabilities.
Okay. It's a Commission on Disability, yeah.
Yes.
Massachusetts Commission on Disability, okay. So they're
but
not getting, okay.
Correct. I have the assistant director's information, so I've been contacting her, and someone who she works with who is apparently sort of an expert in the Architectural Access Board.
Okay.
So we have been sort of trying to contact them and work through that, because that was what the MBTA asked us to do. but we're not sure if that's necessarily the best route anymore. So we're exploring other
No,
options.
that's very discouraging. The contact that I usually use, and because it's his job actually to answer questions and also to assist towns in Massachusetts, is Jeff Dugan. And I don't know if you've had any calls.
I know
into
the
Jeff.
name.
Yes, that's who usually is pretty responsive. Although recently I was on a meeting, a different meeting, a statewide meeting, and somebody was having trouble also getting answers. And they were saying they were very short on staff. And that was part of the problem, which is, pretty believable. But I think that, you might try Jeff Dugan. And if it's coming from the town, a town employee, it might get attention.
Okay.
That'd be my
Follow
only
up.
suggestion. But it's really sad to hear this, but it's not that uncommon.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's like, welcome to my world, It's
Yeah.
just not that uncommon for this stuff to just get ignored, which is tough. So you
Right.
have
We're
to
not
be
done-
very strong advocate for it. Yeah.
We're not done yet. So
No.
Aaron, you and Megan are working closely together on this.
Yeah.
I know Simon Cattell is working hard. The Secretary of Transportation is going to be here for the dedication. And I am certainly going to spend a few minutes with her, just advocating for this. And I'll have a couple of pictures. I'll be appropriately politically nice, but I do think it's important that she be aware of it. And so if you and Megan don't think that's a good idea, let me know, but I plan to have a conversation. Okay. Barbara, you've had your hand up.
Yes, I had a comment about Junction Park previously.
Oh, sorry, I missed
agree
you.
with Cynthia, that it's confusing that apparently bicyclists are not being asked to walk through Junction Park, and yet there are signage indicating
Yeah.
that cyclists are supposed to walk. And I think it's important to get that signage down, because people are confused. And it's my understanding from having attended these meetings that that's no longer a rule, that it is not a pedestrian zone. And that is hoping that the planters and things will, direct the cyclists to one side, and however that might happen. So summary, I think it's confusing to have people don't know what the rules are.
So I think what on this topic, I think we're going to have a site visit, and I think that should be part of the conversation. It's up to the town to decide. I think we made the recommendations as to what we thought. There's supposed to be a sign added that indicates to people you're entering a zone. At the same time, some of the other signs will recommend it to be removed. I don't think it's a bad thing to have the signs there now until we get everything figured out. As I said, I saw people walking, I saw people riding, and they seem to be acting appropriately. So, let's see. Cynthia had her hand up, but Mary Beth, you have a comment?
Yeah, it's just a comment. The signage that Richard, I think, came up with, which I thought was really good, was a sign that said, "Slow your pace in this special place,"
Right.
which I thought was a very good way to communicate that you're entering a different kind of area.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, that's all. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Cynthia Katz, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Barbara, for that comment. Yeah, and Mary Beth. I would say that it's incredibly confusing. And in my conversations with people who are both walking their bikes and people who are riding, half the people say they never saw any signs. Other people have said, yeah, I know. And other people have said, yeah, I'm walking my bike because I can read the signs. So, but also just to remind you, on your website, the map of through Junction Park at this particular moment, or if it's changed within the last week, has a major, it's a major red line through
Mhm.
Junction Park that says, get off your bikes. It's
Right.
so there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of, and I think, as I've heard you say in lots of other meetings, and I've heard people say, basically bikers don't want to get off their bikes. So
I don't think
I don't-
I don't think I said that, but we have data from our surveys on that, which is also on the website. If you want to take a look at the public survey, we had 660 responses to it.
I remember the survey. I remember the conversation about it. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Barbara?
I just wanted to point out that I think the most recent map was from February of this year by Jill Moonheron, and it has removed the reference to walk your bike and has replaced it with slow your pace in this special place. And that would be the map that the Friends are reproducing. If we reproduce a map, would be the most recent one, which does not refer to walking in Junction Park.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. The next item, sorry, back to the safety issue. Any other questions on the safety piece? And Brian, you raised your hand. Did you have a?
I was just
wanna
going to
add-
mention, I was looking at the website that I'm looking at now. It does have the version with a pedestrian zone
Right,
in red
yeah.
on it still.
Yeah.
And that's the old one.
That's what I was going to get.
2021, yes, 2021.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. If there's no other comment on the safety, I'm going to move to interpretive signage. Aaron has sent out, and I think I shared, or Aaron shared with the committee, 2 interpretive signs. Do you want to give us a quick walkthrough on it? Aaron?
Let me pull them up real fast.
Okay.
So these are signs that are from, oops.
You're going to put them on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'll need my magnifying glass anyway. But
All right. Sorry, I have 2 screens and it gets confusing sometimes.
Right.
Okay, can everyone see that all right? It's very small, I know, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's good. I can read it on my screen. I'm not on a phone, so I'm okay.
Okay, perfect. So this is something that was designed by the Natural Resources Department. These are to, I believe, go near White Pond, I believe. And, or one of them is for White Pond, this one's for the Hartley Pond. And so these are to sort of be panels on the side of the Bruce Freeman to explain what you're seeing, what you might see. And the Natural Resources Department is looking for any feedback, whether about content, look, things you'd like to see on there. They're looking to get some better images, I believe, something that's a little bit more clear for when it prints up nice and big. But any sort of initial thoughts or recommendations, concerns, anything like that. And I can also show the other one as well.
Any committee members have any comments?
And this is the White Pond one.
Right. I actually learned something I didn't know when I read the Hartley Pond one. So that was mean, there's a lot of detail, and it's nice to have that for people who want to understand more about what's going on. So for me, that was great, and I think better pictures would be good. And on the White Pond one, I thought that was great also. So thank you, whoever did those.
They were done by Bert over in Natural Resources, the Assistant Natural Resources Director. So I'll be sure to let him know that you all enjoyed them.
Is there any action we need to take on these? I mean, these were a part of the original plans. I know there were going to be 2. Do you need us to recommend you put them in there, or what's your take on that?
I believe that they're just looking for any input that you all
Okay.
had. So if there's no concerns, recommendations for changes, anything like that, then I will tell them that the committee thinks that they are on the right track.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, good. Thank you. Okay, Brian, your hand is still up.
Oh, no, I just raised it again. If we later have any feedback in the next couple days, should I just forward that to you, Aaron?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Okay, any other correspondence or public comments? All right. With that, our next meeting will be on July 27th. I will let the committee know that traditionally we do not have an August meeting. That's at least been the tradition that I learned about when I joined the committee. But our next meeting will be July 27th. We will get it correct us whether it's hybrid, virtual, or in person, but that will be in the agenda. If anything happens with regard to the safety issue, I'll keep the committee up there. Aaron, you can keep the committee up to date via email, just so we know what's going on. So I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, Mary Beth, you're muted.
I seconded.
Okay, thank you. Roll call. Ms. Barker,
Aye.
Ms. Crouch,
Hi.
Ms. Miller,
Aye.
and Nat Welch. I vote aye as well. And this meeting of the Bruce Freeman is adjourned as of 7:52. And I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. And Brian, thank you for taking the minutes. You can just email them to me.